Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to, I guess this is prog review. There is a snoring dog present. Just in case you wonder what those noises are, I give you that little bit extra. She's really snoring today. But dogs, it's everything. It's just, I couldn't ask for a better segue into my review of Animals. Not that one, this one. For those of you who aren't in the know, Pink Floyd, this band, did a remix of Animals in 2018 by James Guthrie. James Guthrie is, crikey, someone who's been linked to the band for many, many years and appeared, in various production roles on albums by Gilmour, Waters, the Floyds. He's somebody who's in the Floyd DNA, so got no issues with him doing what he's done, because he's the band, isn't he? He's of the band, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I did an unboxing video. Now I could have waited. Until this, because there's a big box set coming out next month that's been delayed. These things tend to have production issues, which features a surround sound mix. You can buy the surround sound mix now on Blu-ray, but I thought, I don't know, maybe I'll get the box set. I don't know. We'll come to that. But yeah, this mix was delayed, and there was well publicised spats between. Well, it was more Roger Waters not getting his own way because he wanted an essay included with the reissue. And again, if you've followed any of the Floyd's reissue campaign through their immersion sets and whatnot, they don't tend to do essays, which I've always thought, kind of shortchanged the fans, because it would have been nice to have some reading material. I like that, and that's what Waters wanted. He had this. I think you can go and read the essay on his website or Facebook page. I don't know. It's out there. But Gilmour said, no, I want to preserve the mystique of the band, and that's the whole reason why we don't get any reading material with these reissues, which I thought is weird, because Floyd is incredibly well documented out there via other means, and it would have been nice to have an official line, the band actually sitting down. I know Nick Mason had a book out, which I've got on the shelf, telling the story of the band and everything, but it would have been nice with these reissues to have an official statement, but I guess that's Gilmour's way of looking at things. Preserve the mystique of Pink Floyd. So yeah, all right. So that's why it was delayed. I mean, it's finally been released on the 16th of September 2022. That dates this video. And so I picked up the vinyl. Now, I'd already done a live listen to Dogs, which they put out on digital platforms, so you could listen to it on YouTube or Spotify or whatnot. And I did a little live listener to that, and I was like, I wasn't that impressed with it, And I thought I'd wait till the vinyl. Again, Animals is probably one of my favourite Pink Floyd albums. It's one I know inside and out. It's one that I know really well and I hold dear to my heart, and it still resonates with me to this day. And I remember owning it on vinyl when I was however old, 14. Got my first record deck, Those were the days. And I had that, and I had, I think, Dark Side of the Moon and Peter Gabriel albums and whatnot. So yeah, and I actually wore my original one out. Ruined it, flogged it to the second-hand shop, traded it in for something else, as you do. So yeah, I listened to that digital version. I was like, I'll listen to the vinyl version. I'm not too worried about the surround sound mix because it's niche. It'll be something that will exist. It's okay if you want to go down that path, but really it's the vinyl that counts. And I gave it a listen. I've listened to it since yesterday, and the vinyl sounds a hell of a lot better than the streamed version. obviously, because it's vinyl, and we all know that vinyl is superior, but not as superior as CD. But come on, we don't have to play that game. We all have our preferences. But it was interesting hearing it on vinyl, and the missus listened to it with me as well, and she said, "Oh yeah, this is good, isn't it? It is good," and it is good. But it don't mean it's right. It does sound, you know, they've dragged the album into the 21st century, and it's bright, it's fizzy. You know, there's more detail, there's more the grime. Like I said, it's all on the album covers, right? The browns have been replaced by cool blues, all right? That bright browns and oranges are now cool blues and slate grey. It's all there on the album cover. What it sounds like now. It's very cool. It's a very cool record in terms of colour, in tone. Yeah, it fizzes. It positively fizzes, and it sounds very modern in its production. Again, it's a bit like what they did with A Momentary Lapse of Reason, and I didn't agree with that either. You know, because Momentary Lapse of Reason is an 80s album. It sounds like an 80s album. You know, it's like Kate Bush redoing Hounds of Love and getting rid of all the Fairlight stuff, or even, you know, the Dreaming. You know, it's just, albums are of a time, and that's what we're going to be moving on to. That's what I had in my head. We're going to talk about time. So yeah, I mean, it is. Oh God, Mrs. has spent how much in Smith's Toys? Oh Jesus. The watch tells me everything. Link it to your bank account, and whenever anyone uses the bank card, it pings. It was Verity's birthday yesterday, and gone to Smith's Toys for extra treats. I think Herb's getting a treat as well. Just so you know the context. So yeah, it's a fizzy album. There are some bits of it, some of the production choices I question. They've stripped off the reverb off of Waters' voice on the pigs on the wing, you know, bookends, and so he's very dry, and it's almost like he's in the room. That might be fine if you like that. I like that little slosh of reverb. It adds a warmth to it. Like I said, everything is kind of a bit more real, if you know what I mean. And that's great if you like that kind of production. So you got that, and there's some really weird sounding Gilmour guitar treatments on Dogs, which I'm like, oh, I don't like that. It instantly, you know, throws me off. And it does feel a lot busier, especially Dogs, you know, with the guitars again, because you got these the two acoustic guitars playing off each other. Now they're even more, you know, fizzy. They're more brittle. It feels busier, you know, and it just oh, it's a sensory overload. This is for young people. So yeah, I mean, I can see why some people would like it. Again, that's a personal opinion, and that's fine. That's fine if you like it. I like it, but I don't like it. I think it's clever that they've made it sound a bit fizzier, and it's, you know, it sounds modern. I think that's very, very good, and it does show you what you can do, you know, when you go back and revisit old albums. And again, on the B side with Pigs and Sheep, again, everything's a little bit fizzier, everything's a little bit brighter. The synths are more pronounced, a little bit brought to the fore, and again, it really does sound like a more modern recording. And again, that's great if you like that. You know, you see, I believe I could fly. No, I believe that an album is like it's like a mosquito trapped in amber. Or, you know, you've seen Jurassic Park. Yeah, you've seen. Yeah. We should ask whether we should. Even though we could, we should. Should we do that? No, but I see albums, these albums that we listen to, these classic albums, he says, pointing to whatever's on the wall, are a moment in time. You know, they are a record of a time. This is the time. And I think when you go back and you kind of unpick time, you unpick the cultural significance and importance of the record, of what was being said. Again, this was being recorded and dropped when the UK was in great turmoil, you know, culturally, with, you know, punk and this general level of dissatisfaction, which it seeps out of the record. And the UK was kind of on its knees almost. You needed the rise of Thatcher to restore the UK to its greatness. Oh God. Be careful what you wish for. And so this album kind of, for me, culturally, kind of is a snapshot of that moment of the UK in the 70s. Again, it's expressed in, you know, the idea of, you know, big business trampling over everything, alienation, people, you know, the pigs that are expressed on that, people being sheep. These are very good expressions of the UK in a socio-political history, squeezed into the vinyl grooves. God, I sound like such a ponce when I talk like this. So, yeah, it's important in that respect. Of course, it's kind of relevant to now, isn't it? The way the world is. And so another way of looking at it, if I was to be really pseudo-intellectual and put my pseudo hat on, is to say, well, actually, Animals is still as relevant now as it was back from 1977. And so, by changing the production and make it a more forward-looking album, we make it relevant to a whole new generation. I could say that. Also, Roger Waters has a tour on at the moment. Go buy tickets. Slav Ukraine. I could say that. So it's interesting. It's interesting. But it's like meeting an old friend who's had a facelift, and they're like that, and they can't smile anymore, and their eyes don't quite, you know. That's what it's like. You know it, but you look at it and go, "Oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this." You know, give me a few more visits. You know, to let your face settle in. You know, let it settle. Let the scar tissue, you know, heal. So yeah, I like it, but I also dislike it. You know, is it needed? No. It's a vanity project. Yeah. The booklet's kind of fun, but again, without the essay, or at least, again, talking about the time where it came from. You know, it would have been nice to have dear old Uncle Rog, you know, talking about his inspirations and why these topics were important for him, or Gilmore, you know, talking about his input. It would have been nice to have that essay, as it would have been nice to, you know, have that in the immersion sets. I mean, crikey, I think bloody documentaries about Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here on Blu-ray. You can go and buy those and watch those, but you can't have the written word. How dare you have a tome explaining what these records were about? We must preserve the mystique. And so the release also shows you how it's an utter abject failure, because what it should have been, and I'm going to be echoing an awful lot of people when I say this, is it should have been a box set. It should have been another immersion set, and then you would have got away with this remix. I think it would have been a bit more. Oh, we're getting something kind of new. It should have been a box set. We should have had some live material from that time. Again, Floyd from this Animals period isn't well documented live. You know, there's kind of a dark area. It's kind of a, you know, murky. But again, there are people out there that know Floyd bootlegs and this. I'm not that person. I'm not one of those people. And I think maybe, you know, a lot of fans aren't those people. I'm not a super. Well, I'm a super fan because I'm the biggest Pink Floyd fan there is. I'm Mr. Pink Floyd. Don't you forget it. But I'm not that kind of bootleggy kind of guy. I've never been really that interested in bootlegs. But it would have been nice to have a nice box set with some words, with some live material. I don't think there's any video material. But, you know, you'd have got the surround sound. You know, you'd have got that in a nice box with that extra value. Maybe get a scarf and some marbles, you know, for old time's sake, with a little warning saying no kids allowed, like in the old days. And we could have got that, but we didn't get that. We got this kind of, you know, this kind of half-hearted release instead. And it's a shame, because it's one of my favourite records. It's one of my favourites, you know, so I do feel like it's been kind of undercooked. You know, it's not been... Oh, she's woken up. She's woken up. We have an awake dog. Hello. How you doing? You all right? Is it a nice sleep? Yeah. Could you snore a bit louder for the people at home? Okay then. She's not impressed with me. But yeah, I feel that it's... I mean, it's all right. I like the cover. I think this is, you know, a different perspective of an iconic record sleeve. I think that's clever. And like I said, I like the booklet. I thought the art design is good. But, you know, it's what's missing is the problem. You know, it's what could have been. And I think this is the thing. I think a lot of people are noticing what they've done before, and what they've done with this is, it's like, oh we couldn't be bothered. Here you go. And that's where we're at. Right, should you buy it? Out of curiosity, maybe. It certainly shows you what the difference is between streaming and listening to it on vinyl, because like I said, I listened to Dogs. It was like, but I enjoyed it more listening to it on vinyl. Yeah. So get it if you know, if you're like a vinyl completist, you should get the vinyl. Just at least get the vinyl. Again, I've got a whole reservation for the surround sound, because again, I don't know whether I'm going to get that. I've got it on pre-order, but it's awfully expensive. And again, YouTube money doesn't go as far as it used to these days. Again, with the rising cost of these box sets, and the fact that I think I probably pull in about 60 quid a month via YouTube now. I've already spent $22.99 of that budget on this release, and that's why, you know, insert advert. Hi guys, if you would like more material like this on the YouTube, squirted directly into your visual cortex, don't forget you can support me by giving me all your lovely hard-earned money, because I'm a terrible lazy wastrel. You can do this by clicking the join button. There should be one somewhere. They may have moved it, so I'm going to point at all parts of the screen where you can join the Darren Lock Fan Club YouTube. I don't know what it's called. And for as little as £1, you can get a special little icon that will appear near your name when you take part in live chats, which we do. And then I know that you're not an imposter, because that's a thing now. There's no other benefit other than you'll be filled with the warm, satisfying glow of giving me money. Or you can go to Patreon, patreon.com/lock, and give me money there. But they all these companies take a cut, you know. They take a cut. It's not right. Or you can go to music.darrenlock.com and laugh at the terrible, terrible music I've recorded over the last 30 odd years. It's awful. It's truly awful. You'd think I would have learnt my lesson. I'm no Pink Floyd, I tell you that. Or you can just give me money direct. I'm sure there's a link somewhere you can find where you can just squirt money right into my face. And then I'll buy more records. And if you're lucky, I might even review them. But you won't want that one, because it won't be Pink Floyd. It won't be Pink Floyd again. Not unless they bring out another fucking remix. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, should you buy this record? Oh yeah, if you're a fan and you want to see what they've done to it, it might pleasantly surprise you. You might enjoy it. You know, it's not bad. It's not bad. But it's kind of pointless without the other stuff that needs to come with it, without the live material and the essays and the videos and the, you know, documentaries and a little bag of Roger Waters' pubic hair that you can wear around your neck, you know, in a box set, you know what I'm saying? You know, a little file of Roger's spit from when he spat in your face. But without that, it feels kind of half-finished. Is it essential? Hell no. The original mix is the best mix. This is where I agree with a certain Stephen Wilson, our Lord and Saviour, because he says, it's been well documented, that you should stay, when he does his remixes, he tries to stay faithful to the original, because there's a certain, you know, there's a certain history that needs to be preserved. Yeah? He doesn't want to do anything too radical, mainly because people lose their shit on the internet, and he doesn't want people losing their shit on the internet. So I agree with him there. But then when you go down that route, there's also that thing of, well, then why the hell are we doing this? You know? But remixing's kind of pointless unless... I don't know. It's very rare for one to be satisfied. Even, I mean, dare I talk about my own music? Can I? Can I come across like a complete pretentious twat and talk about my own music? Can I? Can I please? Please? Why am I asking permission? This is my own fucking video. Why am I asking... What? But no. I remix my own stuff. I go back because I want to preserve it, right? And as you go through time, like a time traveller, there's no going back though, you use various software and techniques to record your music. Like I've gone from 4-track to Windows software, Quartz Audio Master, which is long defunct, then into something called Sonar, which is now free. I recommend it if you're on PC. Then I moved over to Mac, and all along the music has kind of got stuck in various forms, and so if you want to access it, you've got to drag it into the next piece of software, and this can be difficult, especially if you're going from PC to Mac. And I like to do this, just like I say, for accessibility, just in case that, you know, I want to do something with it. And it's interesting to go back and listen to what you did, and you go, fuck, how did I do that? You know. But it's very hard to archive this stuff, and it's often it sounds very different when you try and remix it. And I was thinking about, you know, this record, this, he says, holding up, this got me thinking about my music, because long ago when I was first computer recording, I used to record it onto mini disc. You know, I used to output the mixes onto mini disc, and I'd listen to them like out and about, try and get the balance right. And I did this for many years until the early 2000s, and then I used to dub that mix back into the computer, not using the optical link, using the actual analog, and that gave it a kind of warmth, yeah, which I can't replicate. And so the mixes I did back in those days, those final masters, I can never get close to, because there's that element missing, you see, and that's what you hear with this. And you heard it with Genesis when they did some of their stuff, because some of those what's known as outboard effects, when they fed the audio out of the desk into an effects and back in again, are gone. They're lost. And so they try and replicate these effects, and it's very hard. And that's where your little ears prick up and go, that doesn't sound right. You can hear it on here with some of Gilmour's guitar work. And I've found it frustrating. I think, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this when I've got the original? You know, and the original sounds okay. Okay, there's a little bit of hiss, a little bit of, you know, sound issues. You know, little. Only I can really notice. Only I care about it, because nobody else cares about my music. It's only me. And then you think, well, why am I doing this? Because that was also a moment of time. This goes back to what I was talking about. What I did then, and that process was of the time, and it's what adds to that piece of art. Dare I call my own music art? And it's all part of that process. And you're unpicking it. And you're representing it again. But it will never be the same as it was. It will never be from that moment. You know? It'll be slightly different. And also that's without the change into my hearing. You know, again, James Guthrie's ears would have changed over, and so would Gilmore's and Waters' and Nick Mason's, because as you get older, we've talked about this before, the little hairs in your, not the big hairs that poke out, but the little hairs in your ears. How much in Hobbycraft? My goodness, Ferret's bought some supplies in Hobbycraft now. A birthday. Yeah, those little hairs, they degrade over time. And a lot of the top end, you know, falls out. The frequencies, you lose them. So maybe this is why it sounds a little bit more fizzy, because they're overcompensating for the top end. But anyway, I've gone on enough. Is it essential? No. Did they need to do it? No. Will you hear anything new on it? You might do. You might think you hear something new that's been kind of revived in the mix. There might be a little bit of extra keyboard, a little bit of voice that, you know. Will it change your life? Hell no. I mean, that remaster, that vinyl remaster they brought out a few years back, which I've got, it's really good. It's really good, you know, for the money. It's really good. I was never satisfied with the original pressings though, so they always sound a little bit to me. So, you know, so that's where we're at. It's an utterly pointless exercise. Utterly pointless. Alright? But it's interesting to hear what they've done. But let's be honest, it's pointless. It really is pointless. There is no point to it. It's like them replacing the drums on Momentary Lapse of Reason. Utterly pointless. There'll be people that like that mix, and that's fine. But in terms of art, it's pointless. It's like, you know, I think dog's gone upstairs. Sorry, put me off. It's like a great artist. It's like Van Gogh getting the sunflowers and going, oh, I'm going to do them green instead. I don't like these. I'm going to get rid of it. People will be shocked. It's like Da Vinci, you know, changing the Mona Lisa, you know, making her frown instead. People will be shocked by it. But he says, no, this is what I feel it should be. Great art, whether it be music or paintings or pictures or movies, should be left alone. Look at George Lucas and Star Wars. Look what he was allowed to do. I think it's gone too far. There's a difference between preservation, right? And you could say what Wilson does is preservation, right? He's like a little sound archivist. And I know I've said some bad things about his music over the years because he's not very good. But as a producer and a earman, I've always had utmost respect for him. I think he's very good in that respect. And so I think he's got the right idea. You know, being an archivist and a little, you know, like a little audio paleontologist, you know, uncovering the bones and is right. But when you start, you know, you've got to wonder, I've gone on too long, haven't I? People are going to be going, Darren, I could have listened to the whole of side 1 of Animals and made a cup of tea. I've gone on too long. I'm sorry. I've got the house to myself, and I thought I'd just make a video, and you know, and it's just kind of span out. Anyway, it was interesting for about, I don't know, 40 minutes. Bootkit's fun, but again, even if I put it on eBay, I ain't going to get my money back, am I? So it'll just go in the collection next to this one with all the other remixes and reissues. I've been talking about Animals. I've got to get the thumbnail right. Okay, how much money I spent now? Oh, that was Monzo telling me about fee charges. Is that a good one? How about this one? Maybe a happy one. How about a sad one? How about one where I don't really know what's going on? There you go. I think that's the whole gamut of emotions there. Choose your own thumbnail. That'll be the next thing from YouTube. Anyway, thanks for watching. You probably expected this video to go very much like it, you know. There'll be people that say it's the best thing ever. That's fine. I just don't get it. You know, I don't get it. I really like that mix. I like the 70s mix because it was the 70s. It's the 70s. All right then. We shall meet again. Don't know where. Don't know when. Well, in the next video. Probably be a coffee time, I'd imagine. Thank you for watching. My name's been Darren Locke. I've been talking about Animals. Animals, which is a new mix. It's the 2018 mix. What? But it's 2022. I know, because they kept arguing like little brats. But it's the 2022 mix. No, it's not. It's 2018 mix. No, it's 2022. Alright. And yeah. You know you gotta prog on. Ooh, yeah, you gotta prog on. Let me hear it now, prog on. You gotta feel it in your bones, so prog on.